Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now, sorry for the terrible background noise, but I have got somebody drilling holes in my room. So today is the day. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 has been released. What have I got to say? Wow. I've also got to say a couple of other things. Join me from this flight from London Heathrow to Prague in the Aerosoft Airbus A320. Alright, so first things up. Number one, you won't see me play Flight Simulator 2020 just yet. Why? Well, my machines aren't just powerful enough, so I can't run it. Number two, it is too expensive. I wouldn't have the budget for that type of thing. Really, it is way too expensive and just out of my reach, really. And so you're probably asking yourself, why the hell would I be needing to talk about this subject while flying in FSX? Well, I'm doing what I would call a gameplay talk. So I'm basically talking while I'm doing sort of a Flight Sim X gameplay in order of sort of just of a commemorative action. So you won't be seeing me play Flight Sim 2020 just yet. I know a lot of people have already published videos on the web of them playing Flight Simulator. I think it was sort of a lost occasion to make the surprise unique. You know, everyone about 3 weeks before the release of Flight Sim already knew everything that there was to know about Flight Sim, because everyone had published gameplays of them playing Flight Sim and you know, all of this kind of stuff, which I think was not really too much of a smart move by Microsoft, because it could have been an absolute fantastic occasion to make the already present surprise of seeing Microsoft Flight Simulator for the first time even bigger. Obviously, everyone was surprised since the first minute by how the game looked. It looks absolutely incredible. I have never actually ever seen anything like that in a long time. And I'm pretty sure that the reaction that we've all been having was the same when the first Flight Simulator by Microsoft had been released back in the early 1980s, or maybe even a bit more modern than that, maybe late 90s. So this is a humongous milestone in the flight simulation timeline, and it is definitely something which is going to leave a nice mark in all of us. So the game is developed by Asobo Studios in collaboration with Microsoft, and the original release for today is going to be for well, PC, obviously, but there's also a fixed date for the release on Xbox One. I'm not too sure what that date is going to be, as I'm not an Xbox gamer. So I'm sort of speechless, to be honest, because I was really not expecting this new Microsoft Flight Simulator to come out of the blue. Nobody expected it. Nobody expected it, especially 16 years after the release of Microsoft. You know, everyone was stable with X-Plane 11, prepared version 5, it was still version 4 at the time, and Flight Sim X Steam Edition. So this is what has happened, the absolutely unthinkable. I'm really glad, to be honest, of how the team has been keeping everyone updated, and you know, it is really something that nobody can help. This thing is called curiosity. Everyone was really curious, including me obviously, to know how this simulator would look and how it would perform. So there are also a couple of aspects to maintain. There are also a couple of let's say little things that we need to keep in mind. The first thing that I would like to say is that this simulator can be interpreted as a game. Why would it need to be interpreted like such? Well, because it is also going to be released on Xbox, and Xbox is not really sort of a simulation platform, is it? Not like the computer. It is more sort of a gaming platform. So I would consider this simulator to be a simulator for me. And I know that many other people could consider this product to be a game. I'm not too sure. Anyway, it's not really my sort of thing to talk about this. I'm analysing the simulator from the simulator point of view. That's how I'm going to be referring to it, the simulator, so not game. And so this is how it is. Now, here comes another big subject. Expansions and the sheer amount of add-ons that probably are going to be present for this product. Now, you know, this simulator already by stock looks just like real life, literally. I don't even think that there is need to upgrade the simulator, because it is I've never seen anything go into that detail for default. Default aircraft looks absolutely incredible. Default handcrafted airports looks absolutely just like the real thing. But I have noticed a thing which did not exactly leave me with a positive thought. Not all airports are present. It's not all of the famous more than 24,000 airports that you would read at the back of the FSX Steam Edition or FSX boxed CD booklet or envelope. But there are a lot less airport. In fact, there is a bit more, that I would say a handful, probably sort of like 20 or 30-ish airports. I was actually being quite surprised by the lack of airports in Italy. There is no Italian airport. I'm saying this because, well, I'm both English and Italian, so, you know, you've obviously got London Heathrow. God forbid, nobody would not include London Heathrow. That is an absolute airport that needs to be included in every program. But there is no Italian airports such as Rome or maybe Milano. Milano's got 3 airports, 2 to be honest. That third airport is a Ryanair idea, also known as Bergamo. Anyway, so there are no Italian airports, and that is something that has let me down in quite a considerable way. So that is something that really did not make me too happy, let's say. But nonetheless, there may not be coverage on Italian territory, but there still is coverage on plenty of other areas of the European continent, Asian continent, both Americas. You know, what more can you do? And then the attention to detail in the handcrafted airports, even with moving ground crew and people. I guess GSX is not going to be having too much business this year with the release of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and to be honest, I don't think that many add-on developers such as Orbex or, you know, Just Flight are going to be having too much success with getting their excellent products to the simulator, because it does not need them. It really does not need them. It is everything that a simulator could have, but I think that it is just let down by primarily two reasons. There are only just two reasons: the lack of some important and, well, not essential, but important airports, and the surprising amount of aircraft which is available. I was seriously expecting a bit more aircraft, to be honest, and well, I mean, this is absolutely up to Asobo, but I have to say that the game developer studio has done an excellent job with the default aircraft, which look even better than the €70 add-on that you would have for X-Plane. I don't know, like the IXEG 737 Classic series. That is the first thing that comes to mind. That is a €70 plane, but the doors don't open. That's just for another video, isn't it? So, well, this is all I got to say for what I think about Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be not gaining too many subscribers because, I mean, let's be honest, who watch videos of the guy playing FSX Steam Edition? I mean, everyone's going to be interested in Flight Sim 2020. I might be able to do something, to be honest. I probably got a couple of contacts that could do me a nice favor or something. And, you know, I'll see. I'll just for now still play with the plenty of FSX add-ons that I have. I still have a lot of fun with FSX because I'm not really interested too much in the amount of detail. Sure, I do like to have my detailed airports, but I'm more sort of interested in the essence of flying than in just the visual detail. Okay, Flight Simulator needs to have good experience. That good experience needs to be coming from a good visual that you have around, so you need to have a good level of detail on the ground, sky, atmospheric conditions, and it also needs to have a good balance between that and performance, which is an absolute incredible aspect of just about any game. Now, I know that there are many people that play sort of AAA type of games such as CSGO, which are frequently greeted by triple character FPS counts. That is not going to be the case of Flight Simulator 2020. Even if you have a beast computer with an overclocked i9 clocking at 6 GHz or something like that, or 3 RTX 2080 Ti's founder editions or whatever, you're still going to see a performance characterized by 2-digit FPS and hovering around the 40 to 30 marks in extremely dense and demanding areas, which is an absolute fortune to even have that type of performance, considering obviously the visual aspect of Flight Sim and what you take into consideration when you think about Flight Sim. Now, another thing that I don't especially go mad for Flight Sim is the interface that you have in flight. You know that you're supposed to have some sort of basic flight instrument indications such as airspeed and altitude. However, the layout and the sort of representation of those values on the screen, I think it's a toggleable action, to be honest. You can have it either on or off, I'm not too sure. I've seen videos where people have this representation of flight instruments outside of the cockpit, both on and off. I have to say that that configuration reminds me sort of what you would see in Aerofly FS2, an other great but underrated flight simulator of which nobody unfortunately does talk too much. I'm pretty sure that that simulator, I'm a big believer of the fact that that flight simulator has a huge potential, but unfortunately is very rarely used. Another aspect that I'd like to talk about flight sim is compatibility. Now, I'm pretty sure that being a 64-bit application, because you know we live in a 64-bit world, does allow it to be compatible with a wide array of machines, although I'm not too sure if it will run on particularly low-end hardware. I have to say that the game looks absolutely incredible even on low settings, and that is something that you don't really see too often. However, it is a huge factor to take into consideration. Not everyone has a beast NASA computer with multiple graphics cards, CPUs clocking at 6 gigahertz, 16 cores. I really don't think that everyone has the privilege to have that type of machine. Therefore, I do hope that Flight Simulator is going to be optimized for those people that have a slightly lower end computer than that, allow them to take into full consideration and to enjoy to the full potential what this simulator has to offer. Alright, so as we climb out here of London, I'm going to also take a moment to talk about what I think of a very, very, very important day in aviation, civil aviation. Today is the first sort of day that I've ever heard of that the British Airways One World livery Boeing 747-400 registration Golf Charlie India Victor Delta flew from London Heathrow to southern Spain to be dismantled. That is an event that speaks for itself. The Boeing 747, one of the most successful aircraft in history of the 20th century, is going to leave us. That is a thought that has been occurring for a long time. It is quite hard to think that such an aircraft is going to leave us forever at some point, after so many years of excellent service on behalf of many international carriers over the course of time, including British Airways, Alitalia, Singapore Airlines, and a couple of American companies too, including United. Unfortunately, I was very saddened to receive this notification on my Flight Radar 24 this morning. I have been thinking about it all day, and I sincerely hope that the continuing 747s that are going to be dismantled and retired are going to have a safe journey to the, I guess, alternative world of flying. Not to sound sort of weird believing that aircraft are going to be dismantled and immediately after they have an afterlife, but I do think that they have a sort of another conception of flying once they become unflyable, you know? This is just something that I've been thinking and this is what I'm going to be continuing to think. Unfortunately, I've never had the privilege to fly on such an aircraft. I don't really fly too often, but when I do fly, I start to fly for a long period of time, and then I have a big break, and I fly again for a long period of time. I've never had the opportunity to fly on such an aircraft. Unfortunately, I would have always wanted to fly on such an aircraft. My mother had the opportunity a lot of times to fly Boeing 747 aircraft. I have flown on the 737 many times, and that is one of my favorite aircraft, to be honest. But my mother had a great opportunity to fly many times on the KLM 747-400. I'm pretty sure she also used to fly on other carriers, I'm not too sure, but she was very saddened too, because she, let's say, has lived the same amount of years that the 747 has been living for. They're both from 1969, and it's significant, you know. You've been flying with an aircraft which is as old as you, and that really makes a lot of meaning. You've been flying with one of the greatest aircraft of the 20th century, which has been having the same longevity as you. So I will be paying a 747 tribute in the future. Stay tuned for that. But for now, I'm only just going to close this video with the voiceover, and I'll let you enjoy the last part of the flight from London Heathrow to Prague on the A320. So unfortunately, we've been having some serious turbulence kicking in on final. That's why you will see me fly a pretty bad landing. We have been having some really bad turbulence as soon as I disconnected the autopilot on final. That really was unlucky. So I really hope that doesn't happen in the future, especially when I'm going to be doing a nice tribute flight with 747. However, the thing that I like about flight simulation is, no matter how old an aircraft is, no matter how much time is going to be left until it goes away, no matter how much time that aircraft company, that airline and aircraft company has not been existing, flight simulation is always going to be paying a tribute by being a virtual network. You know, everything is always going to be available for flight sim. So I think it's really a great honor to pay tribute to the Boeing 747 in all of its beauty. We're still pretty lucky that this is still flying for a few cargo companies here and there. Oh, if the 747 had to pull out of service tomorrow, I would be sort of sad. But you know, it's going to happen. Unfortunately, it is going to happen sooner or later. Alright guys, thank you very much for taking the time to listen to my voiceover. I am recording this in my garage on my phone and just walking around, because I like to walk around while I think. And well, what can I say? Two very significant events have been going on in these days. They've also, both of them had a huge significance on the world that we see today. Excellent Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 is out, and the Boeing 747, on behalf of the operation carried out by British Airways, is slowly starting to fade. So I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Please stick around a couple of minutes, let's say about 10, to watch the flight arrive at Prague airport. It's been a huge privilege to have been recording this video. It really is a huge, significant event for me, and I sincerely hope that you are enjoying the release of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 as much as many other million flight simulators, flight simmers also, Sorry, I meant to say flight simulators, not flight simulators. All over the world. My name is TomFly737, and I'd like to welcome you to the new world of flight simulation. Thank you for watching.
start.